After Rishi's passing, I read a fair few books. I continue to read them, trying to understand the spiritual meaning of all this. And from what little that I have understood is that as hard as it is to lose a loved one, in our case, our child, our firstborn, he is only gone physically or in a bodily form. He's not here. But all of us are souls. We are all spiritual beings having a human experience. So I have to keep reminding myself every time my human emotions take over, a mother's emotions take over, and that is very but natural, that I miss my baby and I, shed tears. I try and remind myself that Rishi has not gone anywhere. He's very much here. He's just in a form that we can't see him, and he's communicating in a different way that we are not capable of. We are not evolved enough to understand that language or those messages, but certainly he is with us still. So as the saying goes, the ones we love never go away. They just walk beside us quietly and continue to love us. So yes, so souls don't die. We all are souls. Hence I keep reminding myself that Rishi is here. He's here, very much here. His soul is around us, amongst us all the time, caring for us, being our guardian angel, and always looking out for us. So Rishi, I love you. I know you are with us all the time, and but you do have to forgive your mum for being a mum and getting upset every so often, because I do miss you so badly. I miss your smile. I miss the warm hugs that you used to give. I miss listening to your witty jokes. I miss spending time with you. I miss going on breakfasts and coffees with you. I miss everything about you, baby. And I love you. Stay blessed wherever you are. Be happy and just continue to be beside us and just be there. Love you. Hi everyone. Thank you so much for watching this. I thought I'd do something special for Rishi's 5th anniversary. So on behalf of Prakash, Ritik, Rishi and myself, we thank you. It's coming up to 5 years since we lost Rishi in the physical form. So I thought let's do a tribute, something special for him. Most of the people who knew Rishi would know that he loved celebrations. He loved having a good time.
So Rishi was my oldest friend, and we grew up together doing lots of amazing things. I can't believe it's been 5 years. I look back so fondly at our memories and the moments that we shared together. Most memorable are probably the weeks that we would spend together over the school holidays where, Ritik and Rishi would either come up to Sydney or Vicky and I would go down to Melbourne, and we would literally just spend the whole school holidays playing Call of Duty or going to the park and playing with Ginger and eating, oh my God, so much food. Rishi loved his food. And so we all obviously loved food because of that as well. I remember one particular time we went to like a carnival, I think, in Melbourne, and there's a photo of Rishi and I when we're coming out of the ride. But I remember so distinctly Rishi being like, "Oh, like don't be scared," and he literally said, "Just think of like your favorite Bollywood song, and it'll be okay." And that's just how he was, right? Just always feeling joy, and he still does in everyone's lives. I feel so blessed to have known him and the honour of being one of his oldest friends. Sending all of my love to you, Rishi, and to Prakash uncle, Manisha auntie and Rithik. Love you guys so much. Chat soon.
When I was thinking about what to mention in my little voice recording about Rishi, I felt that I needed to reflect on who he was as a person and how he really impacted me. And that's the thing about Rishi, is that he really left an impact on everyone, even in his short life that he had with us and the short time that he spent with us. He really left such a massive impact on all of us, on me, on my family, particularly my sister, who obviously grew up with him. We used to spend a lot of our school holidays in Melbourne, and vice versa. Rithik and Rishi used to come up to Sydney, and we used to just have such a good time. And his warmth, his energy, his playfulness, his love for food really was something that we all shared and connected us all. And it's something that we obviously miss so much. And we always think and reflect now when we see things or we hear things, we always think about in the back of our mind that how much Rishi would have liked this or how much Rishi would have liked that. And that's his impact and that's his legacy that we like to keep going. And on this 5-year anniversary, I'd like to send all my love to Rithik, to Manisha auntie, and to Prakash uncle of thinking of you guys, and we love you so much.
Prashant and I saw Rishi when he was a few years old, a little bundle of joy, a very calm baby and a really, really cute one. As a little boy, he was so close to his grandparents. I remember we used to go to Manisha's place in Sydney, and she had a mat with alphabets on the floor, alphabets and numbers on the floor. Rishi was about 2 years old, and he was able to tell all the alphabets and the numbers. Whenever he saw us, he would never forget to touch our feet. So respectful and loving. In the holidays, whenever he and Rithik came to Sydney, all the kids would be playing or watching TV or doing something, and he would come into the kitchen and say, "Auntie, do you need any help? What can I do?" I so clearly remember those words in my ears today. But he had a very cheeky side as well. Once we were all sitting on the dining table and talking about who would have been naughty in school and who got into trouble, and I said, Rishi probably will be the only one who would not have gotten into trouble at school. To that he said, "Auntie, don't be too sure about that." And he told us a story of how once in year 8, in his maths class, the teacher asked him to solve a problem. Rishi, being Rishi, finished first and was putting his hands up to answer, but the teacher picked some other boy. And that boy unfortunately got it wrong. And from the class came a sound, "You idiot." And of course, that was our dear Rishi, who was escorted to principal's office. We just could not stop laughing, and that is how I always remember him. Very happy, funny, and a caring boy. Rishi, sweetheart, we have locked these memories into our hearts and will love you forever. Miss you lots.
Rishi, I remember the day that I was with Manisha and she found out that she was carrying you, and that was such a special moment for her, and I was so proud and happy to be part of it. And the early years that we spent with you in Sydney were just, full of joy, because I had a small child together with Manisha, and it was just, happy days. Miss you, and hope you're in a happy place wherever you are, and I'll just pass it on to.
Yeah, look, like an older cousin brother to me. It's a shame that Sydney and Melbourne isn't as close as it is. Didn't seem as close as it is. Miss you every day, every year. such a bright, young, happy, joyful young boy, and the best Lego setter-upper I ever knew. Miss you more and more every day.
बस इतना ही कहूँगा। गुजरते गुजरते साल गुजर गए। बेटे ऋषि, तुम चले तो गए मगर गए नहीं।
I remember meeting Rishi so many years ago during the Shamak dance classes, as my son was also in the same class. You just have to look at him and you're captivated by his innocent eyes and warm smile. Always polite and so helpful, especially in the kitchen. He's such a big foodie that he would always look forward to the cookies I would bake. I remember once my mom and dad were visiting us from India, and Rishi and Ritik had come over to spend a day at our place during the school holidays. Moment Rishi saw my mom and dad, he, without any prompting from Manisha, immediately went and touched their feet. Of course, Ritik quickly followed suit, because whatever Bhaiya does, he will do too. My mom and dad to this day remember this and always praise how well cultured and well brought up both the kids are. I can never talk about Rishi in a past tense. He's always here with us. He's just on a higher celestial plane. After all, his name is Rishi. Lots of love to you, beta.
This is the park behind our house where Rishi used to come quite often with Ginger, with our golden retriever. Boys used to spend their weekend sometimes here, and hence we thought it was quite fitting to immerse some of Rishi's ashes in this river, which is Yara River, and so that the river would carry him to the ocean. Rishi was a water baby. He loved water. He loved swimming in the sea, swimming in the river, swimming anywhere, and hence we thought this would be a good idea to immerse some of his ashes here. I try and come here whenever I miss him a lot. I definitely come here on his anniversaries. I've been coming here for the past 2 anniversaries. When I can't make it to LA for his anniversaries, which is what I really like to do. I was able to do that in the first 2 years. Last 2 years it hasn't been possible. So this is the closest I can get to him on this particular day. And just sit here just by myself and in this quiet, serene environment, and just think of Rishi. Just imagine him being here, playing with Ginger, running around, having a good time, and always being happy and smiling.
Hello, this is Ramesh Abba talking about Rishi. In the year 2000, when Prakash Manisha moved to Melbourne, they were put in service apartments in Melbourne. Prakash took 2 apartments adjacent to each other. Those were service apartments. So every morning the housekeeping cart would come for supplying the material for the apartment. Rishi would take one from one apartment door and then move quickly to the other door and claim the other thing also. That was his fun. Next memory is about the leased house which they took after moving from the serviced apartments. That was on Herald Street, I suppose. And Rishi, who was 3 years, was put in a play school nearby. And my duty was to take him there and bring him back. On the way back, he would stoop down and collect grass flowers on way from the curbs. And on coming home, he would present them to Nani Aji. He was very fond of Nani Aji for that purpose.
Hi, in the 5 years since we have missed Rishi, I have thought very often of him as a promising young man who would remain forever young. Rishi always had the youthful, happy, and pure look about him. He, I believe, was born righteous and would live up to his namesake, a saint. I have even seen him kneeling down to say a prayer before leaving the house for an important exam. No one could find a fault with him in any way. He was such a pleasure to be with, in the company of, despite the spoils of what one could call a privileged life, thanks to two great parents, Prakash and Manisha. I had known Rishi since he was 3.5 and have often mentioned him at work meetings, because as part of my job, I would nurture kids to be smart. But Rishi was already smart when he started. At 3.5, he could write the sentence, "I am 3.5," perfectly, with the cutest half attached to the 3. I had a lot of fun extending him since, and he would be so happy each time he wrote a sentence. Rishi excelled in both maths and English. Both Rishi and Ritik's certificates of achievements had been regular wallpaper to the center. They were my exemplary students. I have often wondered why, then, Rishi had not pursued scores aspired by peers of high potential. In fact, in the conversation we shared after the VCE results, he told me how important my advice was and how much I meant to him. He was so relieved to know he had better life skills than most. I realized soon that he didn't need those scores to enter heaven. I say this with sadness on his premature passing, but I guess he had fully matured for the grand stage from where he is watching us now. I have been convinced that throughout the family plight for answers, Rishi has always been there in spirit. How else could anyone endure grief with such results? The answer we know will one day be revealed only by him. The day when all stood still, I had already arrived in my own driveway. I stopped to answer missed calls from a common friend to hear the news unimaginable. Indelible memories of a fine young Rishi will stay with me. I have been honored to be considered family. He had been always mine too. Everyone in my circle of relatives and friends knew him. Rishi had such insights into what his parents went through. One memory was his sharing on how much his mother, my dear friend Manisha, bawled out on the eve of a temporary period of dialysis. He felt safe to share that information with me. I remember also, after I took both Rishi and Ritik to a nearby eatery for Chinese, he would text me later to appreciate my kindness and commented on how nice the noodles were. And I remember the few sessions we had at McDonald's, not for the burgers, but just for fries, and really to practice some Olympiad questions for the year's competition. He would go on to achieve a perfect score in all 5 papers and then exclaimed, "Wow, we did it!" These days, I have often been reminded of Rishi's presence. Occasional past year question papers with the proud name Rishi Chaubal Menon will not let me forget him ever. And as I still feel the sadness in my heart, I know he is up there for a good reason. He's blessing us each and every one, and we thank him for it. May God forever bless his soul. Amen.
Rishi, my baby brother. So, our first meeting was at Nagpur airport when you had come to stay with us for about 6 months, and you were such a tiny baby clinging to your mom in the carrier. It was just one little bundle of joy. Then you stayed with us for 6 months. It was a joy to have you around. I think I had just gone into 10th standard, and I had this summer full of tuition classes and cramming, and you were my entertainment. I remember how I and my friends, we dressed up for your Barse ceremony, and that was the first time we ever saw a little baby wearing jeans. Everyone was just awed by that, and you were a pretty well-behaved baby. So yeah, it's a lot of sweet memories of you spending such a long time with us when you were still a tiny bundle of joy. Now, fast forward to almost 7 years. That was when I saw you next. You and Ritik and your mom came to India after a long gap, and we were seeing Ritik for the first time. That was the first time I saw your personality. You were always pleased to meet people, always making new friends, and you were so fascinated with all the animals, the goats, the cows, sitting on the road in India. I was just amazed at how friendly you were even to those animals. That time I saw your personality bloom a little bit. I saw that you would always listen to your mom, no matter how naughty you both were. You were just full of energy, and your mom had a hard time keeping up, but you guys always listened to her. Mostly you listening to your mom, and Ritik just following what Dada was doing. That time I saw the bond you and Ritik had with each other, and that was a very nice thing to see. That was year 2003 or 4, I guess. And yes, we had good fun. We had some wedding or some function, I'm not sure what it was, but it was a party and we all had a lot of fun in that. The next I remember you was when you guys came to my wedding. And I remember you pulling Amrish's ear, being my brothers, to take care of me very well. And you and Ritik did it quite well. And he still remembers it. And he has been taking good care of me. So thank you for that. The next sweet and I guess the memory most etched in my mind is when you made a decision to come to US to pursue your education in filmmaking. I was so proud that you had the audacity and the confidence to pursue your dream and apply to the best schools and get in. I was just super proud of you. Then you guys came and stayed with us for about 10 days. I think those are my fondest memories with you. That was the time I saw you become a young man, being confident, being this loving, personable young man, being like the one person who everyone wants to be a friend of. And I once again I saw the bond between you and Ritik, and I think that's a very sweet thing, and I think that's the best thing that you probably gave Ritik. I remember we going to places. We went to the ape caves, and you and Ritik did a full long hike with Amrish in the lava tubes. Then all of us, we went to see, I guess we went to this point where we could see the 4 or 5 volcanoes that we can see from like a tallish mountain. And what else? I remember us going to the outlet mall and shopping for you. Then I think what I remember the next is I wanted to have some bulbs planted in the garden, and I was like, I'll pay you to plant the bulbs. And you took up that offer and you planted some crocus bulbs for me. Your mom made a lot of good food during that time, so I got to learn a few dishes from her. I saw her making one of your favorite dishes, Scotch bananas or something. It was a secret recipe that she didn't want to tell you because she wanted you to come home and eat it with her. And then I saw you guys off to LA. And then I went off on my long sabbatical, and I remember messaging you on October 30th how you were doing, what was up with school and stuff, and you messaged me back that it was all good, and I guess you were preparing for a midterm or something the next day. And I never imagined that would be the last time we communicated. But I guess I should just stick to the happy memories of you. You did give me a lot of good memories. I got to see you grow up into a young, brilliant man, and I saw how proud your mom and dad and brother were of you. And I think that is the image I'm going to carry in my heart. I wish I had more time with you, but I love you, my little brother. I always miss you on Rakhi and Bhaubis. I have shown Aryan your picture,
and he asks me about you. He still doesn't understand. He thinks you are his mama somewhere far away. Well, those were some of my sweet memories. Thank you for being my little brother.
So this was in the year 2003 when Rishi visited India. He must be around 6 years old back then. So the memory that's still so clear and vivid in my mind of Rishi is he would ask me to carry him piggyback all over the place. I'll say like all over the house. And whenever I used to get tired and tell him, Rishi, now enough, I can't do piggyback anymore, he used to say, okay, Roshidai, if not a piggyback, then you can do piggy front to me. So I remember Rishi as a very, very sweet, humble, cheerful child, who loved having fun all the time and, just playing around and gelling up with everybody around. I have made a little video of the different pictures that I could gather of Rishi from that trip, as well as some other pictures from one of our cousins' weddings. And this is a little, remembrance of the fun and the kind of person that Rishi was. And he'll stay in our hearts forever, till eternity.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Why'd you have to leave so soon? Why'd you have to go? Why'd you have to leave me when I needed you the most? 'Cause I don't really know how to tell you without feeling much worse. I know you're in a better place, but it's always gonna hurt. Carry on, give me all the strength I need to carry on. You, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When me to the day that you're home. Carry on, give me all the strength I need to carry on. Ooh. So let the light guide your way. Hold every memory as you go, and every road you take will always lead you home. Home. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. When I see you again. When I see you again.
Halloween Eve 2015, when the whole this harrowing ordeal started. From 11 o'clock at night till 5 in the morning, when I finally found out where he was, because I didn't know the whole night. I tried to contact him. God alone knows how I spent those. Every single moment was like forever. And when I found out finally at 5 in the morning, and the way I found out, that I found out on the phone, I was at the other end of the phone. The coroner's office was telling me something I just didn't want to believe. I just said no. Anyway, from that moment on till now, I keep wishing that this is still just a nightmare. I just keep wishing that I will get up from this. I will wake up from this nightmare and everything will go back to normal. My baby will be here with me or out there pursuing his dream. That hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting for that nightmare to be over. Don't know if that will happen. Till then, it is reality for me, unfortunately for us.
Hi Rishi, I wish this message was coming to you in person, but I hope these words find you wherever you are. I have been so privileged to have gotten to know you. I met you when you were a little boy, 3 years old, maybe 4, and I saw you blossom into this amazing, confident, lively, and just such a wonderful young man. I wish we had spent more time together when we were in Melbourne. but I do cherish the few times that we did. I think you know how missed you are by everyone you've left behind, but we're all that much happier and wealthier to have gotten to know you.
Dear Rishi, I have seen you since you were a baby. You were a child everyone would long to have as their own. Being my Manisha's baby, you were like my own. I would have never wanted to record such a message for you, but I am gathering all my strength, my dear, to tell you how much I love you and miss you. You were always loved and will be a part of my life till my last breath. Take care, dear angel. Tina Maushi.
Dearest Rishi, needless I say, we all know and hope that you are forever watching over us with the Almighty, and are always in our hearts no matter what. Although I wasn't lucky enough to spend too much time with you, yet all the memories, even of the tiniest, I cherish to this day. I remember the first time we met, directly in Sydney, as roommates for our Stars of Bollywood show in 2011. I was a lost kid who knew nothing more than the choreography he was taught, and you were the big brother I needed at the time. Helping me out with things, striking conversation to make me feel more comfortable, and most importantly, I remember you taught me how to use the kettle in our room. Another thing that I will always remember is how well spoken and articulate you were. One word that is so synonymous with you, Rishi, is eloquence. I remember every time that we were together, I just paused and loved to simply hear the way you spoke. Lastly, I have written a small poem to endeavour and express my gratitude towards you for everything. In this vast garden of earth, the rarest flower took birth. Amongst all the noble giants, the flower bloomed like a lion. To the sun, its shine most precious. To us, Rishi, the most gracious. You were and are innately good, the epitome of kindness and manhood. To the moon, its ever-glowing light. To this flower, ever shining and bright. Perhaps this is God's love over the garden of earth. The most beloved flowers are plucked first. Thank you so much for everything you have given us all, Rishi. Fly high, shine bright.
I think all the memories that I have of him are the best ones. My entire childhood was about him and Ritik coming to India. Like, we went to amusement parks, we went to farms, we went to, I don't know, different restaurants and stuff. And we three were inseparable. And amongst us, Rishi was the one, who was always more loving, who would not fight, who would like resolve fights, and who just like, he knows how to love, like he knows how to give, and that's what I remember of him. And he was of course the funniest because I remember I was going to the farms and then he used to carry frogs in his pockets while we were coming back, and oh my god, that was like that was so disgusting but very funny. Another thing that I really remember, it was my sports day at school, and he'd come to see my sports day, and I met him after the entire function was over, and he had done something really stupid, which was shaving off one of his eyebrows. I don't know why he did that, but he did that, and he carried it with all the confidence he had, and he was just like, yeah, maybe I was just like trying something new, and then I cut half of my eyebrow and then I decided to shave it off completely. So that is another thing that I learned from him, like whatever you're doing, just do it, and like do it with confidence. I have always known him as this really giving, lovable person, and he genuinely was a saint of a person. I think I've had the best childhood just because I had him during all the best times. He made those times the best times. And I know that wherever he is right now, the people with him, they are having their best time because he is an exceptional person and he is the life of the party. He just knows how to live, and even if he is not here today, he is living the way he wants to wherever he is. And love you, Rishi. I really miss you.
Rishi was a very naughty, very active kind of a guy. He always up to something, always playing. I've never seen him sitting idle, or being lazy. He's always running here and there. But at the same time, he was also very obedient. He always used to listen to elders. I guess in the year 2007 or 8, we all had met for a wedding function, and Manisha Tia knew that I used to dance, so she asked me to teach some steps to Rishi and Hrithik, and I taught them the song It's Magic from the film Koi Mil Gaya. and we got busy with the wedding preparations. So on that day, whenever Rishi used to see me, he always used to come to me and ask, Chirag Dada, can you check if I'm getting all the steps right? He was not going to perform on that song, but still he wanted to make sure that he's getting the steps right. I was kind of very surprised that at such a young age he's such a perfectionist, very eager and enthusiastic to learn, a very inspiring quality a kid can have. I had a very great time with Rishi and Ritik that day, and also during the subsequent visits to India. Rishi, you are, and you will always be in my heart. I'll miss you a lot. You'll always be loved. Love you so much.
We had a wonderful time with Rishi when he visited with Manisha Atya and Ritik right before joining his undergrad course in filmmaking. He was a very funny guy and someone who found joy in the simplest of things. He had a big sweet tooth and he loved the pie that we had for him. And like me, he was left-handed. One of the most amazing or striking part for me was to see the bond of affection and love that he shared with Ritik. He was this amazing elder brother who knew when to step in and stand by Ritik. And today, as a mother of 2 daughters, all I can pray for is my girls as they grow up share the same kind of love and affection and that bond just like Rishi shared with Ritik. It's a very big responsibility, and I must say Manisha Atya and Prakash Kaka have set very high parenting standards for us. Rishi, your life has been a blessing. Your memories are a treasure. You touched many lives in such a short span of time. You're loved beyond words and you're missed beyond measure.
Every memory associated with Rishi and Manisha and Ritik and Prakash is very fond for me. Let's talk about Rishi. The first day I met him, he is such a happy child. Oh my god, that energy, that vibe that he had. He was so excited about learning Bollywood dancing and he was so enthused with his mother, and he had his younger brother Ritik with him, and he was just ready for class. I was so excited to see him. They were one of the first who had enrolled for the class, and that's how it set the tone for our friendship, and there was no looking back from there. I think Rishi is a kid I've always looked up to, how an elder brother or a first child should be, how obedient, how kind, and just so sweet and warm he was with everybody. Yes, so I have really lived my time with Manisha, Ritik and Rishi like a family, like an extended family. I remember the car also was called Hippo, and I used to go out with them very often. Rishi was a child, he had enrolled for my juniors class, and he was always so enthused. I even remember he was trying to convince me to get Ritik in the same class as him. So Ritik was about 6, almost 6, and he would have been in the children's class, but Rishi was like, no, can we please have him in my class? And they had a blast and I had a blast. And Rishi, I can't believe it's been 5 years. Manisha, now that even I'm a mother, I mean, I don't even have words to express what it means. All I can say is that I love you, and we all love you, and you're in a better place, and memories, whether be it party or just sitting, even if me and Manisha are just sitting and talking, you just being there, and you are just such a good listener and so happy. May you always be happy wherever you are. Lots and lots of love.
Rishi and I met as kids through many of our family events, and we danced together at Charmuck. I remember playing Murder in the Dark with him at his house, and we'd have such crazy moments dancing together and all the family trips that we'd make together. He was someone who had this really infectious, vibrant energy, and he was able to make anyone feel comfortable and at ease around him, no matter who they were or where they came from. I can't believe that it's already been 5 years, but I hope that wherever you are right now, Rishi, that you're happy and you're laughing and you're making some stupid joke in the corner somewhere. I wish you the best, and I miss you, and I love you, and take care.
I got close to Rishi through Shamak Davar. Some of the fondest memories I have of Rishi is sleeping over at his place, where we played the DS till late at night, playing Pokemon, where we played FIFA, where he was adamant on getting as many injuries and sub-goals as possible, and even just watching movie marathons late into the night. Something unique about Rishi was that he was always welcoming, always made you feel instantly comfortable, and he had this aura about himself which really lit up the room. I hope wherever you are, Rishi, you are happy.
I have a lot of great memories with Rishi during primary school, but one of the main things that has sort of stuck with me was when we were both in high school, and every now and then we would Skype each other, and one of the things we would Skype about was a sort of trivia we would do, and it was guess that TV show theme. It was mainly him picking the theme songs, but it was just so much fun. He was really good at it. I wasn't so good at it, but it was just so much fun. We laughed heaps. It was the best time.
My favourite memory of Rishi? That's difficult. I knew him for nearly 1.5 decades. I can't pinpoint a specific memory, but what I think back to the most is that we spent most of our high school years away from each other, but maintained an incredible amount of similarities we had in primary school. If we organised to see a movie, it'd always be the same one. If we recommended each other music, it'd be a band we both loved. Or even TV shows, no matter how obscure, it'd be the one that Rishi and I had already watched. We both shared an incredible love of just multimedia in general, and I remember telling him that I wanted to apply for the New York Film Academy, and him telling me that he'd sent his in a couple of days before. I'll never forget how excited he was pursuing a career in the arts. Rishi, I'll never forget your sense of humour, your mischievous grin, or your kind-hearted spirit, and I'm sure that wherever you are now, you are lighting up the room like you did here. I miss you, buddy.
There were just so many things to love about Rishi. One thing that I remember vividly was his infectious laugh. Rishi had a laugh like one of a kind, and his pearly whites would just pop. It was always a pleasure seeing him laugh.
And when I think of Rishi, I think about his humour, his wit, his sarcasm, his ability to be funny, and then when he was laughing, we were laughing, and we were laughing at him.
It's always cracking jokes.
It was just it was a really good time to have Rishi a part of our primary school experience. We love you, Rishi. We miss you. And we know you're here with us 100% of the way.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 5 years since Rishi left us. Leading up to this day, I was reading some of our old conversations, and he was always checking in with me, asking how I was, how was life, how was school. There's a lot of good banter as well. Rish was one of a kind, one of the most caring, humble, ambitious people I've ever met, and it was literally a pleasure to know him. I just see every time I picture him, I just see his smiling face, and that was one thing that never changed since primary school. Since I'd known him, was his smile. He was a great friend of mine, and I really wish you were still here, Rish, and I love you, miss you terribly.
Hey Rishi, can't believe it's been 5 years already. Missing you lots, missing all our chats and our stupid jokes about Godzilla and everything else that came along with it. Your Snapchats that were basically pieces of art. Missing all of that.
Hi PK and Manisha. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to talk about Rishi. I think our fondest memory of Rishi was the involvement he had in our wedding, and as a wonderful human being he partook in all the dances and he was always there. I think he even did a small comparing for us on that day. And I still remember that day when we got the unfortunate news. I was in Dubai with Remy for Ramya's brother's wedding. I just couldn't hold back. It's still a big shock for us, but nevertheless, he's up there. He's happy. He's watching all of you, and hope you're doing good, mate. Take care, and we love you, and we dearly miss you.
We miss you. I'm not going to say much to this. He's all added both our feelings and emotions what we share for you, Rishi. Your mum and dad loves you a lot. We all do, and we miss you heaps. Take care wherever you are. I know you're smiling and you're yourself. Love you. Happy tribute.
My memories of Rishi goes back 10 years when we began at the Bollywood dance school in Australia. Today, I still feel that every show that we do, every festival, may it be Mumbai or any other festival, he's still there. And wherever I have participated, when I look over my shoulder, I feel that I still see Rishi. His smiling presence is always there. You've never left us.
Hi everyone, my name is Francis William. I met Rishi through Shamak Dava, where we danced together. When I first met him, I would have been maybe 12 or 13 years old. I was shy and timid and very reserved. But when I met him, he took me under his wing. He made me feel at home, and I really looked up to him because he was just so kind and so funny and so genuine. He was an absolute joy to be around, and one of my fondest memories would have probably been when this one dance where we had to dance at the very front, and I was so nervous because it was my first time, and the song was like a dynamic duo, best friends kind of song, and I took so much solace in the fact that he was right there next to me, dancing with me. 5 years ago, we had drifted, and I still took solace in the fact that he was out there living his life. To me, he was such a constant, and he still is. And I'm very happy to say that 5 years on, I still think about him. He's still in my thoughts. I still meet people he touched, and we celebrate having known somebody who was such a gem. I'm very grateful to have met you, Rishi, and I hope that wherever you are, buddy, I end up in the same place and we can have a friendly chat.
So for me, Rishi will always be my dance partner, my dance buddy. One of my first memories with Rishi is our Don performance when I was 7 years old. He was a bit older than me, and I've known him since then. I've known him since 2007 when we did Shamak Show Kids together, or 2008. And I'm so grateful that he was a part of my life because he was just the most kind, genuine, caring, incredible human being that I've ever met. I even remember our last conversation. I was asking him to be my debutante partner, and only then he decided to tell me he was moving to America. He didn't think to let me know beforehand, but I just am so grateful, and I cannot believe it's been 5 years since we lost him, but I still think of him every day. I miss him every day, and I'm so grateful that I got a chance to know him, and that I will always cherish my memories with him, and he will always, always be my favorite partner, dancing to Bollywood songs from 2008, 2009, and he will just always remain in my memories forever.
So I met Rishi when I first joined Show Kids. What I first noticed about Rishi was just how loving, caring and happy he was. And throughout the time that I knew him, that never changed. When I think of Rishi now, I think of his amazing character traits. I think of just how empathetic he was, what a great leader he was, and what a great role model he was as well. And I feel that Rishi had this very special power where he's able to make anyone happy, he can make anyone smile, and perhaps most importantly, he can make anyone laugh. I feel really blessed to have known Rishi and cherish the amazing times and memories that we made together. We really miss you a lot, Rishi.
I knew Rishi from Shamak days, and me and Rishi would sit together, be cheeky, and just talk about life. I've just got to say one thing. Rishi, at such a young age, understood human emotion so strongly. You know, I would see him sitting with people who maybe didn't have that group of friendship circle, or maybe they were just sitting alone or just, you know, waiting for someone to pick them up. He'd always sit with them and he'd always make them feel whole. He had this, you know, he had a very special thing about him, not just being intelligent, kind, sweet, and lovable. Just everything about you, Rishi, was, you know, something that we could all learn something from Rishi. You know, it's such a huge loss to lose someone at such a young age. My heart goes out to Manisha auntie, Prakash uncle, and Ritik. You know, it's been 5 years, and for us, you know, we have done other things in those 5 years, but I'm sure for them, it hasn't been easy at all. I cannot imagine the pain. I just want to send a huge hug to you guys, and you know, I'm so thankful that you know, we've all been asked to be a part of this video for Rishi, Rishi's 5th year anniversary. Rishi, I miss you. My best memory has to be just knowing you. I don't know, you just, every time I met you, you'd always be very like cheeky, and you'd be very you know, you'd want to know everything, and you'd be like, oh, and you know, just little things, you know. You were just amazing, Rishi. I can't choose one moment, but yeah, I'll keep it short and simple. Thanks a lot, Rishi, for everything you've given all of us. You have so many qualities in you that we could all take. We can all take one quality from you and just be better people.
Hi Rishi, sending you lots of love. Your beautiful energy is truly missed, and I hope I get to dance with you again and see you again.
Hi, this is Neil, and in the last 5 years I have grown a lot, but one thing that has not changed is how I feel about my friendship with Rishi. When we were in Show Kids together, he was like an older brother to me. I remember he was always you know, having a good time, you know, just overall fun-loving person. And even when we weren't in Show Kids, we used to talk quite a bit about comic book movies and other movies we were both into, and I really respected his taste and how passionate he was, and so happy to hear that he was going overseas to study his passion. And one memory I have of him is that one time we were at the same party and I didn't say hi because I was shy and he looked busy. But whenever I saw him after that, he would always say, "You idiot, you should have come and said hi. Anytime we're in the same house, you have to say hi to me." And when I look back, I wish that I had. And I hope that his family is doing well, and I know he's in a good place. And sending love to Ritik and his parents, and I hope everything's going well.
Hi Rishi, I know you're having a ball, but thank you for bringing so much light, love, joy in this world, and continuing to do so, and for bringing so many of us together. I miss dancing with you, and I miss being in your energy. And to say how much everyone misses you would be very silly. But I know you're around, buddy. Love you.
I was getting my degree in LA for acting, and Rishi messages me one day saying, "Hey, I'm interested in filmmaking. Can you tell me more about it? What's school like over there?" And you know, we got talking about all of that, and then a few weeks later, he messages me saying, "Guess who's coming to LA?" And it was such a beautiful feeling. I was so excited to like have him in LA and at the same school. So when he first came to LA, we hadn't planned on meeting each other yet. So when I first saw him, it was accidental and it just happened. I was at my school library and I was about to leave and Rishi walks in and yeah, we see each other and there's this smile that like comes across both of our faces and like we hug each other and Rishi gives the best hugs. He's an amazing hugger. Like he's not one of those people that give you like half hugs, like you know that one awkward hand hug. He like hugs you and it was so welcoming and there was so much warmth in his hug and he's always like that with everyone and yeah, I was thrilled to have him with me in LA and you know for us to work together and learn more about filmmaking and yeah, and I still think about him a lot. You know, he does give me courage to keep doing what I love, which is acting and filmmaking. So yeah, I love you, Rishi. I always will love you.
No, Alu, don't put nuts on it. Ugh. It's good. You know what'll make it better?
Not everything is chocolate in it, Rohan.
Chocolate makes everything better. A sprinkle of chocolate chips brings a smile to the lips.
बस मेरे भाई समझ गए. Chocolate.
You're gonna miss me when I move, Alu.
Not if you keep calling me that. I am not a potato.
Alu.
थप्पड़ खाएगा.
Alu. अच्छा है जा रहा हूँ. बहुत मारती है तू. एक सेकंड.
क्या है?
गिफ्ट.
खाली है. काय का गिफ्ट?
खाली.
हाँ.
मेरा प्यार भरा है इसमें.
प्यार भरा है. Oh. Dear Alu, I fill this special box with my love, just in case you miss me. Love, Rohan. खाली है. खाली है. I'm Alia.
रोने वाली है तू.
नाराज है बच्चा. चल ना.
Alia? Mrs. Mehta wants to order a cake for Nikki's
Magnolia.
She wants you to make it, Alia.
Busy who?
The order's due in 2 days, Alia.
It's not too late to place an order there.
You hardly take orders anymore.
मन नहीं है.
It's okay. I mean, shit happens. I got you some flour.
Shit happens? Shit happens, Sana. Yeah, like forgetting your wallet, or throwing up in a restaurant, or breaking up, or getting hit by a car.
Alia.
Shit happens.
Alia. वो मेरा भाई भी था.
अब नहीं होता, सना.
बहुत नाराज होगा तुझसे.
तू जा.
आलिया.
तू जा.
So, like many of us, I knew Rishi through dancing, and he really was one of the most positive people I've ever known, and I consider myself really fortunate to have spent that many weekends laughing with him and spending time backstage and making jokes and pranks and things like that. One of my fondest memories is I don't remember where it was, but Rishi did a dance to Choli Ke Piche. Mind you, he did it better than anybody else, but he also left everybody in absolute stitches. And that's just what he did. He was so positive and he could make anybody laugh, whether you were the youngest kid in the room or the oldest, grumpiest adult in the room. He just had a way of, you know, striking a connection with you and making you laugh and leaving you with a smile for the rest of the day. And I guess that's how the memories feel that he's left with us. I always look back really fondly and always look back smiling on the fun that we've had. And, you know, I guess just strive to be as positive as he always was.
I feel like I don't even know how to even begin with my friendship or the relationship with Rishi, because that's the way our friendship even began, and that was when I started at Shamak, and that explains the definition of us. And yeah, so I mean, it was when I first started at SPB. So I joined, and he was there. He's been there for a while, and I was quite an introvert, so I didn't really talk to anyone. I was shy. I didn't know anybody except for one or two people perhaps, and I didn't really speak to each other much. But then there were a few moments when we had the opportunity to speak, because we were dancing in the same kind of dances together, and we were dancing for Stars of Bollywood as well. And there were moments where I was a bit upset about something, which I can't even remember at this stage. And he was just a sweetheart, and he would just come up to me and he would talk to me, or he would hug me randomly, and he would just talk to me about the randomest things just to make me laugh. I have absolutely no idea why anymore, but it was great. And even the time when I lost my puppy to another person, I had to sell my dog, and he was the one to cheer me up when I came to Shamak one day. I came to class, and he was there to just be like, who cares? What kind of name is Millie anyway? When I told him that they named the dog Millie, he was the one to cheer me up about that. So there are so many different random memories like that with him. But yeah, I can't believe it's been 5 years, and I still think about that to this day. I still think about those random memories. I still think about the type of person he is, about how he was the type of person to just randomly come into your life the way he did in mine, and just randomly hug you, and just randomly cheer you up, and just randomly become your friend. That's who he is, and that's Rishi.
One of the main things that I remember about Rishi is the fact that his smile he was always smiling. I've never seen him cry, frustrated, angry, any other emotion. It was always smile. He was always smiling, always laughing, and, he always had a positive way to look at life. And the positivity, sometimes rubs off. I first met him, I think it was during Winter Funk or Summer Funk, one of them. But it was just a very positive vibe, and I requested him to just help me out while if he can take care of my brother, who was also doing shamak at that time, pretty young. And he was happy about it. He just had no other response. He's like, yeah, sure, 100%, no worries. And that kind of positivity, and he was just like that, and he wanted to help. He wanted to just make sure that, my brother's been looked after, and that's the kind of person he was. Rishi was always a positive, caring, loving, affectionate, joyful person, and which shows the way he has been brought up.
Hi everybody, so when I was asked to make this video, it wasn't difficult for me at all to sort of, remember the sort of person Rishi was and the memories that I have of him. To me, he was always like an older brother, someone I could go to get advice from, ask questions to, or even just to have a good laugh with. I remember this one time, Ritik and I were performing at his school, so I went over to his place so we could figure out what we were going to do for this performance. But instead we just ended up playing FIFA for about 2 hours. And then Rishi, who I suspect was playing with us as well, had to frantically help us figure out what we're going to do for this performance in about 20 or 30 minutes. And just small moments like that sort of helped me remember the person he was. He was genuinely a good person. While it always makes me sad, that he's no longer with us, I'm always going to be grateful that I got to know the person that he was, and I got to form such a close relationship with him, and that's the memories that I'm always going to hold dear.
Hey everyone, my name's Simran, and I knew Rishi through dance. So Rishi was always the funniest guy in the room. He could make any single person laugh at the drop of a hat. He was someone you could count on, and you knew he'd be there for you no matter what. When you have a secret and you want to tell someone, but you're not really sure who to tell, but there's always that one person you can count on and go to? That was Rishi. You knew that he would just be there for you any time of the day or night. He would make you laugh if you were down, and he would just give you great advice and just always be there for you no matter what. One of my favorite things about Rishi was the fact that even after dance, I lost a bit of contact with all my dance friends, no matter if we hadn't talked for days or weeks or months, he would just always message here and there to check up on how I was doing. And I'm sure he did that with every one of his friends. And it was just the best feeling when you got a notification and you checked your phone and after 3 months, Rishi had messaged you just to check up on you and see how you were doing and how life was. And it was so, so great to hear from him every single time. It put the biggest smile on my face. I think I can speak for everyone when I say that I am so beyond grateful to have known someone like Rishi and will miss him every day.
I was first introduced to and I first met Rishi when I joined SPB, the SPB batch in Sharmak, and I think he was a show kid at the time. You know, we all as a group, and I'm sure many of us can vouch for this, we spent a lot of time together rehearsing for shows and funks and everything in between at the Richmond studio, and that's where my memories of Rishi lies. He has an incredible presence, and many of us, you know, we played games, we ate, we hung out, we spent a lot of time there, and Rishi's, you know, energetic personality is something that definitely stood out to many of us, and that will always be, you know, the characteristic memory of him. He was a very polite, sincere young man, and you know, he was the life of the party, and he was definitely a people's person. So we always had a lot of fun. And I remember there was, I don't remember the occasion, but there was a party that we had, I think, for Dipti. And he just, you know, he stole the night. He was doing impressions and making everyone laugh. And that is such a classic Rishi way to be. And I will always remember him as, you know, the person with a huge smile on his face, with the gleaming teeth, and someone we all absolutely enjoyed spending an incredible amount of time with.
Rishi, he was like my younger brother. Me and him used to tease each other all the time. We would annoy each other like siblings. You know, when I used to go through the messages that we had throughout the years, I could just see it was just both of us making terrible jokes at each other. And that was just how our friendship was. In the same token, I remember times where I was maybe stressed about something or anxious, and he would have my back, you know, wanting to help out where he could. And, you know, I just think that he was just a child himself, yet he had the maturity to understand other people's emotions, and it just shows how special he was. You know, he was someone who was very genuine to people around him, very caring, would always talk to everyone, and you know, the family should be very proud that they brought a boy like this into the world, because he has left such beautiful memories in other people's lives, and they should be very proud.
Rishi was just an unbelievably incredible person. And I don't think I've still quite processed the idea of him not being with us anymore. When I think of him, all I can recall are just those wonderful times we had together, filled with laughter, joy, euphoria. I remember he used to come over very often, and we used to make these videos and these skits and just laugh for hours and hours. But somehow those videos would just mysteriously disappear. If anything, I wish I still had those, so I could cherish all of those memories. Rishi was just truly unlike anyone I'd ever known. Not only was he such, you know, a charismatic person, but it was so evident that he deeply connected with everyone, and he cared so deeply about everyone he knew. He was just a pure soul. I think the last time I saw him was at one of the Sharmak shows, and I remember speaking to him about his bright future in film direction and his training in New York. I honestly wish we had more time. I just wish I could tell him how much of an incredible person he was and how adored he was by everyone. So, Rishi, if you're listening, you are truly loved by everyone, and I really miss you and I love you.
Dear Rishi, I miss you so much. You came to stay over a couple of times at our place, and you would always ask if there was any help needed. You're always smiling, helping, loving. The time I remember the most was when you came over when Samira was just a couple of months old. The next morning, I was up really early, and surprisingly so were you. You had so much to say that day. You asked me every detail about what she likes, what she doesn't, what I do during the day, how I'm coping with the whole situation. And I was really amazed at a person your age to be so curious, so caring and interested about what I was up to and how the little baby was doing. That really touched me. You helped me that day in a way that you didn't even realize. You've left an ache in my heart forever, and your memories stay with me forever. The last time we met was at the Shamak show, and when I asked you when you're going to come over for your favorite pancakes, you said to me you will be visiting during holidays. I said I would miss you, and we gave each other a long, long, tight hug. Never in my wildest dreams would I have realized that this was our last hug. I love you a lot, and I miss you a lot. When I sit alone, a lot of times, I feel you're still there, right besides me. I love you.
Hi, this is Ambrish here, or like Rishi would say, Eddie Uncle. We had a very unique relationship. Whether we met at the Shamak dance classes or whether he would come to our house. For me, Rishi was just an epitome of good manners, fun, laughter, and always ensuring that everyone was in the right spirits. I've had one-on-one conversations with him as well, and we've conversed about the most silliest of things and had some silly, silly laughters. And we've also had conversation on some very mature, serious topics. And doesn't matter what you discussed with Rishi, there was always a valid opinion. There was always a valid answer, a very intelligent answer, a very mature answer. I always thought he was very mature for his age. Some of the best times that I've had with Rishi was when he used to come to our house. And I remember him, Ritik, and Simran going in there, going in Simran's bedroom and recording these amazing skits and videos till 1:32 in the morning and having some crazy laughs. I wish I could see those videos. I wish I could see those skits because it's almost like he did not want any of us to go through that pain again and see him. And those videos literally they just disappeared. And that's very typical Rishi. He would never let anyone be in any sort of pain, but just have good memories and good thoughts. He was a very caring individual. I do believe he's still around. I can feel his presence when I think about him. I can hear his Vietnamese accent that he used to put on at the drop of a hat. I remember his funny skits that he would do on how a Vietnamese or a Chinese owner would ask for money after providing the service. It's hilarious. Um, his dance, I mean, what can I say? He was just an amazing dancer, amazing performer. And I think he was on the right track with pursuing a career in films and entertainment. He was meant for that. He was just someone who would give so much joy to anyone around us. When he was at our home, I do remember this, he would wake up in the morning and ask my auntie for his favorite pancakes. And when Ritik and Rishi and Simran would sit down. There would be no conversation because he was just so engrossed in those pancakes. And after he finished them, would say, "Oh my God, Pani auntie, these are the best pancakes I've ever had." That's how he was. Loving, caring, always giving positive feedback to people around him, always making people around him feel loved. I miss you, Bed. I miss you a lot. I still remember the last message you sent to me from the party in New York. It was an Instagram message. I miss you, buddy. And I wish you were here in my life right now.
Last time I sat here and used this laptop to record a video, it was for my CCUSA application when I was 18, so a long time. And that summer I was supposed to spend it exploring New York City with Rishi. I ended up exploring it alone, which was still amazing, but I wish he could have been there with me. When I was working over there, I remember there was one day where I climbed this hill. I sat there and I watched the sunset, and I couldn't tell you why or how, but just sitting there, I knew he was with me, looking over me, making sure I didn't do anything too stupid like roll my ankle trying to get down this hill. I cried the whole way back to camp, and I just felt so close to him. I was really lucky that after that camp I flew to LA and I got to meet one of his friends and hear a lot of the stories and adventures he got to have while he was over there as well, which was amazing, and I'm so glad I did it and made it happen. Rishi and I shared a love for the TV show The Nanny, so we had all these little inside jokes, and he was so quick-witted and funny and right off the mark that I always called him Niles from the TV show, and I still watch it when I'm missing him. It was like our little show together. I remember reading something just after Rishi died that really helped me get through it all. Was this girl asked her mum, you know, why do all the best people die? Why does God take them from us? And the mum said, well, when you look into the garden, which flowers do you pick? You pick the most beautiful flowers. She said, God does the same thing. He picks the most beautiful people to be with him. And I'm not a religious person, but that was something that really stuck with me and really, really helped me get through missing him, knowing that God really did pick the most wonderful person in existence to be by his side. My favorite memory with Rishi is a really random one. I was having a really, really bad day at school, and I was texting him saying, I'm bored, come on, cheer me up. And he goes, I'll come and cause some commotion by putting some brightly coloured vegetables in hard to reach places. And it just made me laugh, and it's just something that's always stuck with me.
Hello, hello. I'm Rishi's friend Jamie from LA, California. Him and I started NIFA college together in September, and before that, for like a month or two, we connected through the school app that brings everyone together. And immediately we just knew that we had to be best friends because we just connected in so many ways. We had so much in common. He was so fun, outgoing, lively, positive, everything. And literally from the first time that I had messaged him, we have not stopped talking ever since, and we would always message each other every single day, especially after we finally were able to meet and become true friends. We would always message each other, sharing about our experiences at school, just joking around, and planning future, like going to Disneyland and all of that. And I also have a really special picture of him and I, always up on my bedside right here. Here he is. He's always here with me. looking over me, literally. And I am just always gonna cherish this picture together, and I always wanted to have him framed so I can always remember him. But yeah, he is, I mean, you can just tell that he is such a light. He emanates this beautiful, beautiful light that I don't come across a lot in people, and that's why I knew that I had to be friends with him. And it's been really hard. Sometimes just in life I'll come across something, or someone will mention a word or just a topic, and still to this day it reminds me of him, and I get really emotional, and I just want to take a second to just cry it out, grief, because it's never really over, you know. And yeah, sometimes having to just hold it back because I'm in public and no one knows what I'm getting emotional about is tough sometimes, and I'm sure all of you guys can relate as well. But yeah, he just meant so much to me. I was so excited to have a person like that in my life to go through school with, and hang out with on the weekends. And he just meant so much to me. Every time I would introduce him to one of my new friends, they would just love him immediately, and we had so many inside jokes and videos, and it was such a fun time to have him while I did. And he's always going to be in my heart forever. Even if I wanted to, I don't think I could ever forget him.
How do I remember Rishi? I remember Rishi as a kind, caring, compassionate, charming, and annoyingly witty person. I remember Rishi as one of my best friends, and I like to think of Rishi as someone who had an unspoken will. He basically left behind something for everyone that he ever knew. And when I think back to some of my most fond memories of Rishi, one that really stands out to me is around my 18th birthday. I pretty much asked him to do everything for it. I didn't really know too many people at the time, and Rishi being Rishi knew everyone. So I asked him to sort it out, and he did, of course. So I fast forward to today, and even though he's not with us, with me in person, some of the people that he brought into my life during that time are now my closest friends. And that to me is his legacy 5 years later. He showed me the value of friendship, of kindness, and really showed the importance of having people that you care about and that care about you in your life. I just want him to know that we really miss him, that he's going to live on in all of our memories for a very long time, and that no matter what else changes, I'll always see him as my brother. Miss you, mate.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. When I see you again.
We love you, we miss you, we shall never forget you.
Rishi, I can't believe it's been 5 years. It feels like a long time ago, but very recently that we were all in Japan together. We were all spending first year uni together, and then you were heading off to the US, and we were saying goodbye. I think it feels so recent because you had that kind of personality that we will never forget. You're always the first person to crack a joke and make everyone laugh. But you're also the first person to switch to being serious and from taking the piss to caring, to offering us advice, and being that friend who could kind of give that kind word and really be there for us in all the times we need you. I think most importantly, you're always the first person to bring everyone together, to make everyone feel welcome and like they belong. I remember when I was on exchange in France over summer at the end of year 11, and you were the first person to message me regularly, send me photos, take the piss, and I think I really valued that connection. You were always great at that, and I think we still have you to thank for keeping us all so connected. We miss you and we'll never forget you.
Rishi was the glue of our friendship group. He was just so effortlessly genuine, effortlessly thoughtful, caring, and kind. He just had that skill, that sort of natural skill to be able to connect with everyone and to be able to find an interest in everyone and everything around him. And of course, his witty humor was absolutely unparalleled. And so for all these qualities, Rishi lit up my life. He lit up all our lives and continues to do so, even 5 years on.
There are so many memories of Rishi. And as a mother, I couldn't pick one or the other. The whole life, every moment that he spent with us is a beautiful memory. And I try, and we all try and live up to lead a happy life somehow, because Rishi wouldn't want us to live in sorrow. While he lived, he had a very good life. He really enjoyed every moment of life. You could never see Rishi sad or unhappy. More than himself, he made sure everyone he came in touch with, everyone he was with, that they were all happy. And as you will see in the messages that people have sent, that is one common thread, is he would just light up a room. He would just make the room come alive. And that is our Rishi. That's who he was.
My memory of Rishi was when we would meet in the park to drop off Ginger after her holiday with her best friend and chocolate Labrador Lex. Rishi and Rithik would come down to the park to collect Ginger and take her home, but she wasn't really happy to go home because she wanted to keep playing with her friend Lex. And so I remember Ginger plonking herself down on the ground and absolutely refusing to budge. And Rishi and Rithik looked at each other, and Rishi politely declined my help and said, "We'll be all right, thank you. Thank you for looking after her." And so I went home with Lex, and sure enough, As soon as I was out of sight and Lex was out of sight, up went Ginger, and Rithik and Rishi were able to take her home. A loving, caring big brother, mature beyond his years, and humble, and an absolute delight to know both brothers.
Time is short. I heard it told, the good die young. I'd never given it much thought until now. I've drawn the conclusion that there is some truth in this observation, now that I ponder on such a young and promising life no longer present. Rishi set the example of many young fine men, always polite, always knowledgeable, always adventurous, quiet, creative, respectful, attributes that set him apart. His life was a blessed one. He did not waste a minute. Rishi understood the value of time, for time is short. Yet eternity awaits. Rishi's legacy leaves us with a challenge. What now? What exists on the other side? Rishi had thoughts on this too. God was real to him. The name of Jesus Christ was not foreign to him. The assurance given is that all who believe in Jesus will have eternal life. It's a promise guaranteed. Rishi's life proves that none of us have the luxury of knowing what tomorrow brings. But it's also an encouragement to take hold of life and live it to the full as best as you can, and to always be thankful. Rishi's smile testifies to this truth. Thank you, Rishi, for the courage you showed. Thank you for the trailblazing path you took. You are missed here, but we know that time for all of us is short. And so, soon enough, we will meet again in heaven, is the promise. This is the place where there are no more tears and there is no more pain. The place where evil ceases and only love exists under the glorious care of our Heavenly Father, God Himself. May the peace of Jesus Christ be with us all.
What I liked about Rishi was his deep love and respect for his family, shown in his delightful Bollywood dancing with Mum, Dad and Rithik, which was a lot of fun. It troubled him that his parents might be disappointed at his decision to study filmmaking. He loved them, and it was obvious to all. And he loved his brother, and he took his big brother responsibilities very seriously. He loved his dog and put his dog's needs before his own. He loved his friends. Wow, so many testimonies, so much love, so many deep friendships. And I didn't quite realise how much he loved the film industry. I guess that was all the flying here, there and everywhere around the world and watching lots of films on planes. But just like Rishi, to keep it quiet. And he was very humble about all of his talents. But it's not what a person can do that makes a lasting impression, but more who they are. And Rishi loved people and demonstrated that he was created by a loving God. I just want to read Psalm 139 a little bit for you. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You understand my thought from afar. You scrutinize my path and my lying down, and are intimately acquainted with all my ways. Even before there is a word on my tongue, behold, Lord, you know it all. You have enclosed me behind and before and laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It's too high. I cannot attain to it. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you're there. If I make my bed in Sheol, behold, you're there. If I take the wings of the dawn, if I dwell in the remotest parts of the sea, even there your hand will lead me, and your right hand will lay hold of me. If I say, surely the darkness will overwhelm me, and the light around me will be night, even the darkness is not dark to you, and the night is as bright as the day. Darkness and light are alike to you. For you formed my inward parts. You wove me in my mother's womb. I will give thanks to you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the depths of the earth. Your eyes have seen my unformed substance, and in your book were all written the days that were ordained for me, when as yet there was not one of them.
Hi, Manisha Tai, Prakash Dada, Ritik. It's such a difficult thing that you've asked me to do today, because when you, Manisha Tai, sent me that message, I was absolutely, I don't know what I went through, but what can I say? आम्ही पहिल्यांदी जेव्हा सिडनीला आलो तेव्हा जस्ट लग्न करून आले मी, अँड ऋषी जेमतेम 1.5-2 वर्षाचा होता, and he was the cutest baby. He used to call me Annu Mami. He was actually the first child that I ever got attached to, and it was such a wonderful feeling that he also got attached to me. आणि माझा हात धरून इकडे तिकडे यायचा, आणि I had never experienced anything like that. It was so special. He was so special, and it was the most amazing, what can I say, a child's love that I experienced for the first time ever. And it was so innocent and so beautiful, and I'll never forget that. And when the whole thing happened later, it's to me, I still think of that little 1.5-2-year-old that used to love me so much, and I used to love him so much, and gave us only pleasure and only wonderful memories. And I'm sure you feel the same way as well. And तू म्हणली तसं मला, बिकॉज ऑफ दॅट आय ॲक्च्युली वेंट अँड हंटेड फॉर अ फ्यू पिक्चर्स. आपण एकदा समुद्रावर गेलो होतो, गॉन ऑन टू द बीच विथ ऋषी, आणि त्यावेळेचे 1-2 फोटोज आहेत विच आय एम सेंडिंग अलॉंग विथ दिस व्हिडिओ. अँड व्हॉट कॅन आय से, गॉड ब्लेस हिम, गॉड ब्लेस यू ऑल, लव यू, टेक केअर.
I was first time introduced to Manisha, and then I saw these 2 little monkeys coming behind her, Rishi and Ritik, and couldn't believe that she was a mother of 2. Over my time now in Melbourne, I lived there for almost 4.5-5 years. She was one of the first few people who I got attached to and became more than my family. And it was not just about Manisha and me, but it was even her kids, Prakash. All of us were very, very close. There were instances where kids would spend time with me, would stay over with me through the night, or I could go to Manisha's and stay over with them. I remember from baking, pancakes in the morning, to even learning cartwheels, or just being a kid with them. It was amazing. Rishi is such a gentleman and a pure soul. I even remember asking Manisha once that, how have you taught them? And she used to always say that they're God sent, that's how they are. And I completely agree with everything that Manisha said. I could understand how, even from simple things like making breakfast for himself, because his mom was sick, he used to tell me, so I will make sure that I will learn to cook and make breakfast in case mom is not feeling well. Simple things, if I was feeling low, or he could sense it, he used to just be around me, or lighten my mood by just saying, come on Dipti, let's take some pictures, let's do this, let's do that, come on, why don't you pose like this. Even movies, there were such complex movies that we used to watch when they used to spend time with me, and he knew the concept. Even I couldn't understand that. He was so clever, and I remember everything that Rishi wanted to do, Ritik wanted to follow. So even if I got Rishi something, I had to buy Ritik the same thing. And those two were such important part of my life when I was there, and I'm so sure by now Rishi would have even directed a movie, or even, you know, done so much in his life. I can't even imagine, because he was so pure, so talented, and full of life. uh, I can't believe it's going to be 5 years that he's not with us anymore, and I'm extremely sad about it. But sorry, I'm so sure he's an angel, you know, looking down on us and shining his light above everyone. Thank you for coming in our lives. Love you all.
तेरा कैमरा मेरे पास है. This picture was the last time I met Rishi before I went to Sydney. The whole tagline of Tera Camera Mere Paas Hai came from once Vihang had forgotten his camera at Rishi's house, and Rishi hold on to that camera and created a whole web series which was Tera Camera Mere Paas Hai. For 2 weeks the camera was with Rishi, and after we got the camera, myself and Vihang saw this amazing web series what he had created, short films about Tera Camera Mere Paas Hai, and we were really stunned, and the whole direction came from there, and he got an idea to go to the New York Film Academy and then do his course there. Another memory which I will never forget is his Thai curry. Okay, whenever he used to come to our house, the first thing, Rishi, please make Thai curry, and we all loved it. So that's why we used to tell him to make his Thai curry. We used to eat and enjoy a lot. One more memory which I can never forget is sitting in China bar and Rishi eating pork buns. At that point of time, when he had those pork buns, I was like, you, Rishi, you're having pork buns? But sorry Rishi, I was wrong. And today when I go to China bar, in memory of you, I always think of you and eat pork buns. So it is really amazing, and thank you for introducing me to pork buns. And lastly, तेरा कैमरा मेरे पास है, and ये photo मेरे कैमरे में कैद है. This photo will always be one of the special pictures of me, you and Ritik. I cherish this photo every time I go through my photo gallery, and it is one of my best pictures. I will miss you, Rishi, and I will connect with you in my next or many more lives. Love you.
I spent a lot of high school trying to get people's approval and prove that I was good enough to be their friend or that I belonged. And I never had to do that with you, Rishi. What you gave me was the permission to be myself, and that was such a breath of fresh air. Like, I was at my most creative with you. I was able to have so much fun in filmmaking because you were there to show me that it was alright to be silly, it was alright to make a bad joke, you'd laugh anyway. not just because it was funny or not, but because you supported me, because you were there behind me that whole time. And in the years since you've passed, I've realized you are still there. You're still there supporting me, and yeah, I know there's great contention on what happens after we die, but what I like to think is that all that energy, all that life that was in you has gone out to be in the universe to bless all of us and to hopefully bless other people as well. I love you, I miss you, and I'm doing alright.
Last time I saw you, you were full of hope and fear. I can't believe you're leaving. I said I'll see you in half a year. You were chasing after all those dreams in a way I never could. I knew you'd make it big, you'd be a star, I knew you would. You said I can't wait to get back and see how you all have changed. Because in half a year, no matter what, nobody stays the same. Well, now I'm not the same, I'll never be, I never will. I hope you know I loved you oh so much, I love you still. Your memory won't die with you, I love you still.
Blah. He's such a joker.
Hi, Mr. Del Taro.
Oh no, Tom Pennyworth!
Okay, sorry. I remember looking back on all the films we'd made and though we'd reminisce about those good old days, they weren't so long ago. We always knew how to brighten up a lonely night like this. Now I've learned you never are too young to reminisce. Now I've learned you never are too young to reminisce. You said I can't wait to get back and see how you all have changed. Because in half a year, no matter what, nobody stays the same. Well, now I'm not the same, I'll never be, I never will. I hope you know I loved you oh so much, I love you still. Your memory won't die with you, I loved you and I love you still. Saw you was nearly half a year ago, and I cried my tears, I've dried my eyes, but the days still feel so slow. I can't believe I won't see you in a lifetime, my dear friend. But I'll run into your open arms on the day we meet again. I'll run into your open arms on the day we meet again. And if you've been watching over us, you've seen how we all have changed. But when I think of you, no matter what, your memory's still the same. You've remained the same, and in my heart you forever will. Rishi, you know I loved you oh so much, I love you still. Your memory didn't die with you, I love you still.
I've been watching back and editing all of this footage and hearing all these stories, and it's really interesting because all these things I thought I forgot about Rishi are coming back, and suddenly he feels so much less distant than he did. I got to know him through year 11 and 12 media class. I remember it became our favourite class really quickly. We'd spend the whole time basically improving these dumb characters and making these crazy movies, some of which are lost to time and some of which are still somewhere on the internet. And we'd always be writing these really dumb scripts and just trying to make each other and our friends laugh. It was just this gigantic filmmaking playground. It was so fun, and I think also it was just so great to have a friend like that at that time. I never felt judged by him. I never felt like I had to prove myself to him or anything. He just accepted me as I was, and he accepted everyone as they were. And I think that was the gift that he gave to me, just the permission to be myself and to be silly and to be stupid and all that. I feel like he must have learned at a really early age that people will repay kindness with kindness and light with light and love with love, because he had so much of that to give to the world and the world reflected it back to him. Everyone absolutely loved him. And he could just make your day by him just showing up and being him and by letting you be you. So I don't know what happens when we die, but I would like to think that he's somewhere out there in the universe, bringing that light and love to us and sharing it with people he didn't know in this lifetime. And I'm going to miss him every day for the rest of my life, but at the same time, he only left us physically. I know that he's still here with me, and he's still here with the rest of us, because where could he have gone? He's still here. So, to Rishi, I really miss you. And I owe so much of the direction that my life has taken to you. I owe so much of my creative direction and my development as a person to you. So thank you, and I hope to see you sometime.
The first time I met Rishi was for a short few hours in Dubai on New Year's of 2013. He came across as a quiet person who kept to himself. Then we met in 2015 in Seattle, a few weeks before he started his filmmaking course in LA. The Rishi I met then was a confident person, super funny with his witty humor, but I was mostly inspired by his simplicity and grounded attitude. Rishi was such a loved person and easily made friends. I remember when we went to LA after hearing the sad news, all his friends and roommates had so much positiveness to share about him. I also remember he cooked gourmet meals for himself and his roommates, using his iPad to see all the recipes. We, in fact, tasted his Thai chicken curry, which he had made a few days before, and it was damn good. I also remember his passion for movies and pop dolls. We went to his room and he had a collection of pop dolls. I distinctly remember he had uh, at least like 5 or 10 of them, and he would always collect one just to add to that collection. I remember the tough days that followed and the heart wrenching time of taking him to the funeral home. That even when we watched him lie peacefully, a tear came down from his eye, almost like a message that he's listening. Rishi, you have touched all of us in such a short time, and we will always cherish these memories forever. God bless.
In 2008, Rishi and I were together in junior troop for CPCA, and I just remember every week that we'd have a small break, and every week he would always have this pink milk, and I would get so jealous. It was probably just a small carton of strawberry milk, but every single week I'd look at him and I'd go, Rishi, do you have it? And he'd look at me and he'd be like, yep, I've got the pink milk.
saw Rishi, even though we don't have a lot of memories from your growing up teenage years, we have some amazing memories from the time you were born and visiting you in your house in Sydney, and then when we followed you to Melbourne, and then some beautiful memories of you and Nuha and Rithik playing in your house. Just wanted to say you're always in our thoughts, and yeah, thank you for the beautiful memories that you have given us.
One little incident I'd like to share. As a baby, when Rishi and Rithik were young, took them back to their Abaji grandparents in India, and they used to play with the kids in the building. Rishi was so fond of insects. A lot of you probably know that. He loved creepy crawlies and insects, and he would just pick them up in his palm. He found a praying mantis. As a pet, he named him Archie, and put him in a jar and was looking after it for a couple of days. Unfortunately, Archie died 2 days later. So both the brothers went down and buried him with a lot of love and respect, and they put a stone next to it, saying that's like a tombstone for Archie. And with the help of one of our neighbors, Rishi planted a small little sapling of almond tree, and that was that. And I didn't know about it till after Rishi's passing. Our neighbor sent us a photograph of this massive tree, lush green tree that that is blooming, that is flourishing, and now birds have made a nest there. New life. And Rishi wouldn't have known, but new life is taking place. And that beautiful neighbor wrote a lovely poem for him in Marathi, which I'll try and translate, so you understand what the emotions behind that. After Rishi's passing, we tried to make sense of what had happened. Why? We could never find the answer for why, but through the books that we read, we keep reading, trying to understand why us, and why does this happen? Such a young life. Why would he be snatched from us like that?
My memories of Rishi are warm, happy, and full of laughter. I remember him being so funny and witty. I remember being at our house one time and we couldn't stop laughing over a TV show. I can't even remember what it was exactly, but Rishi was doing a great impression and it was hilarious. I knew Rishi since we were kids, and I remember him having a great imagination. We would come up with games and have a great time. We both loved movies and theatre, and we connected on that. I'll always cherish these memories of Rishi.
My first memory of Rishi is a 7-year-old boy with big eyes and a big smile on his face. I found him extremely confident, friendly, and very talkative. He was curious about a lot of things and asked a lot of questions. A very smart boy, and he continued to be the same. Whenever his family visited us, he loved to check what was going on in the kitchen. It made me very happy that he appreciated my cooking even at such a young age, which is something I haven't seen in young children. I have his happy face with a big smile forever in my heart.
I have known Rishi since he was 5 years old. Rishi enjoyed playing sports, be it tennis, rowing, basketball, soccer, or swimming. Rishi and Shubhang have played basketball and tennis together. They used to go and have tennis coaching together, and during their tennis classes, apart from playing tennis, they would often exchange and trade their Pokemon cards and footy cards. We all know that Rishi was a food lover, but he enjoyed Indian sweets. While other children would have ice cream and cakes, Rishi would be the only one who would have Indian sweets in his plate. And that made me happy, and every time I would make Shira or I had some Kaju Katri, I would pack some and give it to Manisha when I met her at the gym. The other memory that I recall of Rishi is that Rishi would always be smiling. I cannot recall him being ever sad. When we think back, there is no doubt that Rishi was a special child. We will always treasure his memory in our heart. God bless, beta.
Hey Rishi, I hope the angel up there enjoy your cranberry.
My lovely boy Rishi, you live in my heart. Always, always, always. Love you heaps.
I just want to say that Rishi was a beautiful boy, always full of smiles and this energy which was just enigmatic. He loved to tell stories, and I kind of always thought of him as someone who reminds me of myself. And I just wish that wherever he is today, he continues to tell those stories to those around him, and may he rest in peace and know that everyone loves him.
Rishi was such a beautiful, kind-hearted person who was always smiling. His presence is much missed in our friendship group. We miss the fun our families used to have, whether it was playing Holi, going to the snow skiing, or picnics and late-night dinner parties at his parents' place. Rishi lived his life with passion, and his enthusiasm to dance and perform showed his natural talents. It was always a treat to watch him dance with the Shamak group. He was a bright young man following his dream at NYU, studying to direct films. Rishi made lasting impression with all that he met in his short life. He will always be in our hearts, remembered for the joy, love and warmth he shared with all. Sanjay, Sahani and myself will always miss him dearly.
I can't believe that it's been 5 years already. Rishi Bhai to me is and will always be a person that I look up to, because I still remember all the fun times and moments we had in Dubai. He always treated me and Maisha the same and bared with us regardless of the age gap. And he was an extremely artistic person as well. I still remember all the Snapchats, drawings and stuff he used to send me, and just how intelligent of a person he was.
That infectious smile, the wonder in your eyes, the enthusiasm in your voice when you related funny incidents and stories. That's how I'll always remember you, Rishi. You just had this ability to connect with people and make everyone feel so comfortable around you. I remember despite the huge age gap, you got along so well with Ayman and Maisha. and you made me feel like a cake boss with all the praises for my baking efforts. You could just brighten up any room, any conversation with your funny jokes and the surprising wisdom you had for your age. That's the kind of light you had in you. I miss you so much, but I know you're just in a better place, making the heavens shine brighter. And we'll see you soon enough.
बहती हवा सा था वो, उड़ती पतंग सा था वो, कहाँ गया उसे ढूंढो. बहती हवा सा था वो, उड़ती पतंग सा था वो, कहाँ गया उसे ढूंढो. हमको तो राहें थी चलाती, वो खुद अपनी राह बनाता, गिरता संभलता मस्ती में चलता था वो. हमको कल की फिक्र सताती, वो बस आज का जश्न मनाता, हर लम्हे को खुल के जीता था वो. कहाँ से आया था वो, छुके हमारे दिल को, कहाँ गया उसे ढूंढो.
I thought of looking up old pictures with Rishi in it, as he was always a part of our parties or gatherings. And him being the good sport that he was, he would dress up in keeping with all our themed parties, which was almost a ritual for us then. I remember him playing so many roles, like a vampire, then a Sardarji boy, Thakur from Sholay, Chatur from Three Idiots. So I thought finding his pictures would be a piece of cake. But when I started looking through all our old pictures, is when I realized that we hardly had any pictures with him in it. And that is when it dawned on me that Rishi, even then, actually preferred to be behind the camera rather than in front of it. You know, he's there at the party with you, just that you don't see him in the pictures anymore. I still like to believe the same about Rishi even now, that even though we don't see him, his presence is still felt in our hearts and lives. We don't see him, but he's always there. Rishi, you were and will always remain our jolly good fellow forever.
Hi Rishi, it has been a while since we last met. I would say the first thing that comes to mind about you is the way you are with people around you. You're always inquisitive, always learning, always happy, always helpful, and always up to something. Thinking about you always reminds me of the Three Idiots parody, the Chatur speech, although it was adapted a bit for me and others too. I also loved your mocking of accents, especially the Chinese one. It always got everyone in splits. I hope you are in good spirits, Mo Bonhomme, wherever you are, and until we meet again. Au revoir. Cheers, mate.
Where to begin? I think my most fondest memory of Rishi is watching a horror movie together, actually. I remember sneakily watching Jeepers Creepers, which I don't think he was supposed to be watching then because he was quite young. But we did watch it, and I was quite surprised with the way that he was when we were watching it too, because I was nervous. I was like, oh, I don't know how he's going to react. And so we were killing some time, and instead of being scared, we literally just laughed our way through the whole film. Some of your comments had me on the floor laughing, Rishi, and that is how I remember you. I think as someone who brought a smile onto people's faces genuinely, and who could make you laugh till you cried, and who had a fantastic sense of humor in the most sort of effortless way possible too. You used to surprise me with your random knowledgeable facts, and we always bonded over our mutual love for all things yummy, of course. You were such a genuine, positive, and caring soul. I don't actually ever recall you not smiling or laughing or just being in high spirits, no matter how stressed people were around you or whether we were freaking out about a show, rehearsals. You were always so calm, and you just had this positively happy soul. You were definitely one of a kind, and I will never forget that, and I'll never forget you, Rishi.
There are just so many beautiful memories with you, Rishi. Sleepovers at Dipti, where we just binge food, push Rithik around, talk absolute garbage, go to class together, just those little things. And when, like, the more I've thought about it over the last couple of days, yeah, those moments meant a lot, and it's funny that they mean so much more upon reflection, knowing that we can't make those memories with you anymore, but I'll keep this short. But I hope wherever you are, you're happy, you're blessed, which I'm sure you are, being the Rishi you are. And yeah, it just doesn't feel like you've gone anywhere. You'll always be with us, and yeah, just know that we love you. Yeah.
Although Rishi is no longer physically with us, we think of and remember Rishi quite often, actually. There are many occasions when we think of him, especially there are many because there are so many moments and so many different occasions that we have shared with him. And those occasions trigger memories of him. For example, whenever we hear any reference to the movie Three Idiots, we straight away remember him. We remember the stellar role that he played at the end of the skit that we did. Now, although there were so many of us who took part in that skit and we played different parts, his portrayal, his fantastic portrayal of Chatur, speaking in broken Hindi in that skit, is what actually has stuck in our minds, and we just think of him whenever that happens. Whenever we hear the song Jahan Main Jati Hu, Wahan Tum Chale Aate Ho, we clearly remember Rishi standing on the box and directing the Katputlis in Stars of Bollywood. There are many such memories that are in our minds. But all of those memories of him are of a courteous, respectful, kind, and an always happy young man. It is said that God always takes the best of us very early because there is so much negativity in this world that in fact God himself needs kind and good and gentle souls with him, next to him. And in Rishi's case, this is so very much the case. Although he's gone from amongst us, he will always live in our memories as a young man with a gentle soul full of laughter and happiness. We know, in fact, we are absolutely sure that he's looking down on all of us and sending us all his love and positive energy all the time. Rishi,
Miss you.
we miss you a lot, and you will always be in our memories forever. I know that we'll meet each other again in the next life, and we will be honored to be so.
Was asked by Manisha to be part of this dedication to the life of Rishi. And it's such a sad circumstance. And this is like my third take because it's just tearing up thinking about it. The night that Rishi's body was discovered, I was driving home from a show that my best friend was playing. And oddly enough, we were talking about things happening out of our control and involving cars and this and that. And I was driving home. It was pretty late. I think it was the night of October 30th, around 11:30. And ahead of me on the 101, I saw cars swerving, and so I slowed down and came upon Rishi. And he was laying in the road, and this isn't a road, it's a freeway. Something I've never, ever seen or hope to see again. And something connected with me. The reason I stopped was because it looked like my brother. And I'm so sorry to the family that, especially Rishi's brother, because I thought that was my brother, and I can't imagine it being my brother. So, I can imagine how strong you are, and your family, and the mystery of what was going on that night. I hope you have peace with it as a family and friends. But I do have to say that coming across Rishi that way has given me, first of all, a friendship with Manisha, which was amazing. She's such an amazing person. A mother's loss of a child is so devastating. I can't imagine the pain. And through all of that, I had a chance to meet her, and we really bonded as if we were longtime friends. She told me that Rishi was really creative, and he was here for acting school or film school. And me being an artist, a musician, and chef, I actually was very inspired to fulfill my dreams of being an artist. And a young boy coming to California to start his life in the arts and in film and creativity, and I heard he was just such an amazing, bright, enthusiastic, charismatic person. And to know at that young of an age that you would travel across the country and stay somewhere foreign to study your art is so inspiring. So after I heard that, I felt like there was some divine reason I was on that road the night of Rishi's death, and that I was to hear more about his life. His short time on this planet, I'm inspired, even though I never had the chance to meet him. I had the chance to hear about what a beautiful soul and what a creative artist he was. And I hope more young adults do not let anything stop you. Be fearless, go after your dreams, go after your art, whatever's calling you, because if anything, at least we know he was trying to follow his heart, and which led him to California. And I think those chapters still have to be written, and to let him breathe and perform and act through us as vessels and channels for Rishi. Sometimes the soul is too big to encompass one body, and so they expand into stardust, and we get a little bit of that in us. And I think anyone who has been part of his life and was graced with his presence, being a family, a friend, and for me, a complete stranger, but meeting Manisha and hearing about what a beautiful soul he was, I was just almost felt touched that I was the one who crossed paths with him in such a tragic way, but that I could be part of service to that. And so thank you. Thank you, Rishi. And may you rest in peace, and may your spirit and soul live on.
It's not been easy to even think of doing this, but I think Rishi has been with me all along, and I know he's right next to me right now, giving me strength to do this. And I have to thank every one of you, each and every one of you who sent messages, and be it written messages, recorded, or video messages, because it's not easy to write about someone or talk about someone who was a part of your life, who brought in so much joy, so much happiness, and touched your life in different ways. So I understand how hard a task it has been for all of you to send in the messages, but I think Rishi would have given you the courage to do that. And I think he's right next to me right now, and helping me record this. What can I say about Rishi? I will need an eternity to talk about him. 9 months plus 18 years, 8 months and 16 days is how long he had been with us in his bodily form. So I'd need at the minimum that much to talk about him. And apart from that, I think I will need an eternity to describe him, to talk about what a gentle soul he was, or he is. From the time he was a baby, all he did was smile, smile and smile, and bring happiness to so many people, anyone that he came in contact with, be it the house helps in India when I took him back as a baby, or be it his classmates in kinder, in his teachers in primary school, his friends that he made, such good friends he made in primary school, and during his extracurricular activities, in drama classes, in dance classes. As you all know, he loved performing. He just loved performing arts. And I guess that's what took him to LA, and in hindsight, would we have stopped him from going? Probably not. Because if we had forced him to stay back here to pursue his studies in some other field, he would not have been happy. And we wouldn't want to have an unhappy child doing things only because his parents asked him to. So at least Prakash and I have we have the solace of knowing that at least he was happy for whatever amount of time he was there, for a very short time that he was in LA, pursuing his dream.
उड़ती पतंग सा था वो कहाँ गया उसे ढूंढो बहती हवा सा था वो उड़ती पतंग सा था वो कहाँ गया उसे ढूंढो
Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through. That I'll be standing right here talking to you about another path. I know we love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. How can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side. And now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
It's been a long day without you, my friend. And I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way, from where we began.
You know we started.
Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
I'll tell you.
When I see you again.
Wow, that was a proper movie-length video on Rishi's life or memories of Rishi that his friends and family have shared with us. And I wanted to do something special for his 50th anniversary. Hence, I decided to put this together. So thank you once again from Rishi, Ritik, Prakash and myself for putting in the effort. I know it hasn't been easy for a lot of you to write, record, or send voice messages about your memories. And we really, really appreciate it because for us, these are treasured memories for the rest of our lives of Rishi. I would like to thank a few people in particular. Without their help, this would not have come together. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Darshan for helping me tirelessly to to guide me through how to do this. And a big thank you to Sahil for creating this in such a short period of time. I know it has taken him fair few nights on top of his very busy schedule of directing and creating ad films in his profession. So thank you so much, Sahil, for doing this for Rishi and for your time and effort in understanding how I wanted this to come alive. Another couple of people I want to thank as well, Paul, Rishi's whimsical friend, who liaised with me to get messages from his high school friends, and also Jeremy, who put together another short film of messages from Rishi's primary school friends and high school friends. So thank you all so much for doing this for Rishi, and I really, really appreciate it for helping me put this tribute together for Rishi. And this is the legacy that Rishi is leaving behind, that people have so much love for him, so much to say about him, and
the difference that he's made in so many people's lives. And and I thank you for making Rishi's life so full of love and joy and happiness for whatever time he was here on the planet Earth. And may God bless you all, love you all, and hope to see you all real soon. Thank you. God bless.